Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in today. We're going to be checking out a pretty cool program. It's called OpenVAS. It's an open source vulnerability scanner. And we're just going to run through a bunch of the cool ways that you can use it, go through a couple scans, set up some targets, check out all the little nitty-gritties. First, what you're going to need is Kali Linux or Backtrack and a target to scan. Today we are going to be scanning Metasploitable. I'm just running it from a VM on my computer, as you can see right here. And just to start, we're going to check out the IP so we can later make it a target. You'll see it is 192.168.62.129 right here, and we're just going to remember that for later. Back to Kali. So I'm just going to take you through the initial setup portion of OpenVAS because it can be a little tricky. Then we're going to move on to some actual scanning, looking for vulnerabilities and whatnot. So first what you're going to do, open up a terminal. You can also find OpenVAS in the applications Kali Linux Vulnerability Analysis OpenVAS section. You'll see all these commands. They're all available on the terminal. So right now, I'm just going to show you. And those are all of the different commands that you can use for OpenVAS. But first, what I'm going to do is click on that initial setup tab that we saw earlier. And what this is going to do is download a bunch of NVT syncs. It's going to take a little bit, so just bear with it. Won't take too long, maybe like 5 minutes tops. It's also worth noting, you'll see NVT multiple times throughout this tutorial, and an NVT is a network vulnerability test. And pretty much all it does is it's a little script. It checks for a certain vulnerability in a certain program. And OpenVAS has a public feed of NVTs, and I'm pretty sure there are over 30,000 currently. It's updated every day. You can sync it through a simple terminal command. It's really cool, and I like it. Right now you're going to see all of these .nasl. I call them NASL. I could be pronouncing them wrong, but who cares? No one's judging. NASL is a nest attack scripting language, and it's a wrapper for a bunch of tools in this program. It's pretty much a method of running an NVT. But you don't need to really worry about that. That's getting pretty down and dirty into the specific NVTs. Alright, so now what it's doing is loading the plugins. These plugins are the NVTs, by the way. As you can see, there are 33,000 currently. That's a lot. It's going kind of slow. So we're just going to check back in when that is finished. Hey guys, we're about halfway through the loading the plugins phase. Just wanted to check in, let you know it's been about 5 to 7 minutes real time here. So if your installation is taking this long, it's alright, nothing to worry about. And I'm just going to check back in at the end of this phase, and we'll continue the setup process. Hey guys, we're back. Plugins are almost done being loaded. Probably took about 10 minutes from the halfway point. Your computer might be faster, you know, due to network or processor. You know, mine's a pretty slow computer, pretty old. And now you're going to see this failed no such table. It's alright. Don't worry about it. It doesn't exist. It never existed before. It's going to create it now. So don't worry. Alright. It's restarting the administrator. Here you see the Greenbone Security Assistant. That's what we're going to be working with today. They have a desktop version, a GUI desktop version, but I don't really think it's as good as the desktop or as the Security Assistant, which is web-based. So I'll introduce that in a second. For now, you're going to enter a password that you want to use, make it secure. Remember it, because this is it. So I'm just going to type it in really quick. Alright, and here it says no rules file provided, new user will have no restrictions, and that user admin has been created successfully. Admin is the default user. You can make your own user if you want, doing OpenVAS, add user. But we're not going to do that right now. What we're going to do is, first of all, why not? We're going to check the setup. So we're going to do OpenVAS, setup, just to make sure. And we're just going to click yes. And this is just going to bring in a couple more plugins or a couple more MVTs to OpenVAS. Make your stuff better. More MVTs equals good. It's going to stop all the services, and then it's going to start up the scanner in the manager one more time after loading the plugins, of course. That has to happen every time you do the setup process. Don't think that this is the only time that you're going to have to do it. Sometimes OpenVAS likes to be a little bit temperamental. And I find that running OpenVAS setup often corrects these mistakes. Don't worry about these error received handshake message out of context. That was just me foolishly trying to go to the Greenbone Security Assistant website before it was actually started. So that's my mistake. You also don't need to worry about this error. It's common. So the next thing that we're going to do is update our NVTs. So what we're going to do that is do OpenVAS. Oh, I already typed it. We're going to do OpenVAS feed update. And that's going to update our NVT feed. Once again, the NVT feed is public. It is updated daily. If you wanted, you yourself could go write some NVTs and upload it to their feed. Also note that this is going to update your SCAP data. Not actually sync it, but it'll update what your computer thinks is in the server. It's going to update your SCAP database as well as your NVT database. And then what we're going to do after this is just update the actual MVTs, and then we're going to update the SCAP data, and then we're actually going to use the program. I'm sorry this is taking so long. The setup can be annoying and quite painful, but once it's over, it's pretty easy. Nothing should really take this long after the setup process. Alright, so now we're updating our OVAL definitions. It's the Open Vulnerability and Assessment language. And what that is pretty much it defines how a vulnerable system should look. Other than that, there's not really much that you need to know about it. That is finally done, and that was just OpenVAS feed update. So now we're going to do OpenVAS NVT sync. And this is going to sync up your NVT feed with the OpenVAS NVT feed. Alright, and the last thing we're going to do, I know you're sick of it, just bear with me, we're going to do a SCAP data sync. So now what we're going to do is OpenVAS start. I'm going to start up all those services. This might take a tiny bit. Alright, so that concludes the setup portion of the tutorial. Yay, everything's working, the installation's good. You can finally access Greenbone and find out what OpenVAS really does and not how to set it up. So let's do it. We're going to open up Iceweasel. Really, whatever browser you feel like opening. What we're going to do is go to HTTPS. HTTPS is important. We're going on a secure connection. We're going to go to localhost, which is 127.0.0.1 for those of you who don't know. And we're going to go on port 9392. It's going to say that it doesn't trust the connection. It's okay. So do I understand the risks? Add the exception. And here we go. We're at the Greenbone Security Assistant login page. So now what we're going to do is we're going to type in that username that we got at the beginning. If you remember in the initial setup, it was admin. Then we're going to type in the password that we typed in the initial setup phase as well. And here we go. This is the home page for Greenbone Security Assistant. Here you got scan management. You can set new tasks. That's going to be where you're going to create scans. You can create hosts in asset management. Here you can check all of the NVTs and CVEs and CPEs, all of that good stuff. And here's where you're going to configure your targets. You can set who you want to scan, what ports you want to scan, scan configs. That's all the different types of scans that Greenbone does. You can do alerts, filters, schedules. All of this we're going to go through. Alright, so first thing we're going to do some administrative stuff. Here you'll see the NVT feed, SCAP feed, and search feed. So we're just going to click on one of these really quick. Here you'll see the Synchronize with Feed Now button. clicking on this has the same exact effect as running OpenVAS MVT sync in the command line. So we're just going to not do that because it tends to take kind of a long time. So we're going to go to the Users tab now under Administration. Here's where you're going to create new users. You'll see the admin user that we created during the initial setup. I'm just going to create a new one right now. I'm going to name it Zool. I'm going to do password, and here you get to choose the role. You can do admin, user, observer. Admin can remove or create users. Users can just create scans and whatnot. For now, we're just going to do observer. Observers can view the scan progress, but they can't create anything. And we're going to do allow all here. We don't want them to remember. Alright, so now you've got your users. You've got admin as the admin role. You have Zool as an observer. And you can even edit the user, clicking on the little wrench icon. Change the password, even change his role. But we are not going to do that now. The next thing we're going to do is set a target, because in order to perform a scan, you need a scan target. The default for OpenVAS is localhost, but we're going to change that. So click on this little star button. It's a new target. And I'm running a scan against Metasploitable, so I'm just going to name this Metasploitable. And we're just going to type in Metasploitable's IP. We looked at it earlier. You could also do a list of IPs from a text file, but we're not going to do that right now. Add comments if you want. And here you get to choose the list of ports that it scans. So you can choose Aliana TCP 2012, Privilege TCP, Nmap even has a couple top 100, top 1000 lists. We're just going to go with OpenVAS default for this. You have the option to set SSH credentials, but we're just not going to do that. We don't really need to for this. Alright, now you can see your targets created. You got one host, one IP. So we have our target configured. So now we're just going to check out this. Remember, we looked at the port list options. Here you can actually see which ports are included. So we're just going to check out the OpenVAS default. You'll see that the total number of ports is 4481. That's not even close to the number of possible ports out there, but we don't always really need to scan every single port. So let's just check this out. Notice there are no UDP ports with OpenVAS default. So here you're just going to see the port ranges, gives you the protocol. Again, there's no UDP ports for the OpenVAS default, so you're not really going to see anything but TCP here. But you get the ranges, you get a general gist of what this is about. So we're back in port list. Now what I forgot to mention was that you could also create a new port list. Click on the star, as always. You can do, let's go with tiny port list. All caps, because we're cool. Very small amount of TCP and UDP ports. And let's see, T for TCP, U for UDP. So why not just let's deal with FTP. So we're going to do FTP, and then we're going to do just DNS. Nothing too fancy. You can also do it from a file. It's going to be in this format. and we're going to create the port list. Now you see, this is your custom port list. You can leave it. So, checked out port list. We don't really need to check out credentials. There's not much to it. We're not going to really set any SSH credentials here. So next thing we're going to do is check out scan configs. This is going to be all the scan types that you could do. They got empty, it's got nothing. Then we have full and fast ultimate, full and very deep ultimate. The difference between the fast and the fast ultimate variants is that the full and fast ultimate will try certain NVTs that make it possible to completely stop services on the target machine. It could even cause the target machine to crash. The difference between the deep and the non-deep scans is that if you're running multiple scans on one target, the non-deep scans will optimize themselves by trusting previously collected information from those scans. But the deep scan variants will not. It's much slower, but if you're trying to be thorough, they will catch a couple more vulnerabilities. So we're just going to check out full and fast right now. If you click on it, it'll show you the NVT families and the NVTs from each family that are selected. So here you can see all these different families. We're just going to check out port scanners. See, we only do 2 of the 15 port scanners out there. So we're going to check out this scan config family. Click on the magnifying glass. You'll see we have 2 different NVTs. We have Nmap with a nasal wrapper. That's using that Nessus Attack scripting language wrapper that I talked about in the beginning of this briefly. It uses some optimizations to launch Nmap in a pretty clever way without using too much memory. So if you click on that, you'll be able to see the actual NVT. You'll see the name, the family, and then you see the summary. This plugin runs Nmap to find open ports. Pretty basic. And then you get the preferences of this NVT. So we can just check out one more. Maybe one of these malware ones, because we're cool. Alright, so here you have more NVTs. You get the name, you get the OID, you get a risk level. So we are going to just check out this Bofra virus detection NVT. You can see it's critical risk level. I really hope that no one finds that on their machine. And here you can see same deal as that other Nmap one. You get a summary describing the general gist of what this NVT is about. You get the various scores for the NVT. Even gives you a solution if it finds the NVT, if it finds that you've been infected with what this NVT checks for. And then you have a little bit more stuff over here. Alright, so now we're going to go back to the scan configs page. Just got one more thing to show you guys. Click back on full and fast. So here again we have the NVT families, but if you scroll down a little more, you can see the scanner preferences. This comes in handy for when you're creating custom scans, but we're not really going to do that here. Then you get the NVT preferences. So, I'm just going to scroll back up now. That's it for scan configs. Now, we're going to check out the alerts tab. we're going to make a new alert. Click on the star. We're going to name this alert scan finish. And what alerts are pretty much for is letting you know when a certain event happens in your scan, if it's done, maybe if a new one's created. So we're going to do scan finished. And then we're going to do metasploitable scan, because this is the metasploitable scan, so we're just going to set this alert. And here you have the various events that you can choose from. You got deleted, request, done, new, running, all that kind of stuff. But we're going to choose done. You can even set the condition at which the event is triggered as well. So you can, we're going to do always, but you can do it to trigger it when the threat level or risk level is high, medium, low, or log. Do change, either of these, but we're just going to do always. And here you would be able to do, let's say, zool@google.com from attacker@site.net. We're going to attach the report, and you can really choose any of these. I would steer away from PDF because that seems to have a couple issues still. HTML works fine though, so we're going to do that. Then you can choose between all these options. Honestly, I'm not really sure what these are, so I'm not going to cover them. I've never used them in my life. So we're going to create that alert. Hey, we've got these being sent to zool@google.com. Sorry if you have that email. So, we've got the alert. Next thing we're going to do, we don't really need to worry about filters, but I'm just going to check out schedules. Again, click on the star to create a new schedule. This is if you want to run multiple scans over a period of time, so we're just going to do weekly scans. We're not going to do a comment here. You can set the exact time and date of the first scan. You can do for how long you're going to test it for. So let's do 3 weeks. And duration, 1 week. Alright, there we go. You set up a scan, go every week for 3 weeks. We're not really going to use it, but if you want to delete it, click on the trash can, check out its details, go back to settings. But that's about it for that. You can also create slate. Not sure why you'd ever want to do that, but it's pretty straightforward. You're just going to give it a host IP, you're going to give it a port, and the login credentials, but we're not going to create that right now. And there's also agents, but we're not really going to cover that. That's not as applicable as before. So, it's also worth noting, if you're poking around in here at all, you can check out all of the NVTs like we did for the scan configs, except this time it shows you every single NVT for every single NVT family. You can see the family, the name, when it was created, if it was modified. Remember, all these NVTs are publicly available. You can change some of these. You can add to the NVT feed. But we don't need to click on these. We've already seen what they're about. But let's check out some of these CVEs. For those of you who don't know, CVEs are just common vulnerabilities and exposures. It's pretty much just a big catalog of vulnerabilities. So we're just going to click on this for the details. And this is just going to be it's a little cross-site scripting vulnerability. As you can see, published pretty recently. Here we have the description. There's no CVSS in this case. We've got some confirmations from Cisco. As you can see, this is against Cisco. And you can also see there are no NVTs addressing the CVE, so that's pretty interesting. Now you can also do CPEs, check out oval definitions. If you remember from earlier in the tutorial, oval is what describes what a vulnerable system should look like. So I'm just going to click on this really quick. You can see it gives you the title, gives you a version, definition, even gives you description and the family that it affects. How a vulnerable system should look. Here we go. It gives you the CVE. If we wanted, we could even check that out. I'm just going to do that really quick. Because why not? There you go. We've got this CVE. See what it's about. We got various references. At the end, or the date that it was created, all this good info. All from Greenbone. So, now we're going to go to scan management. I'm going to click on new task. This is going to set up a scan. Alright, so we're just going to name this Metasploitable scan. This is a scan of a very vulnerable system. And for now, we're going to do full and fast because, you know, like it says, it's pretty fast. It's the fastest of all the 4 scans. And here you have your list of targets. See the target that we created, Metasploitable. It's right there. We also have the alert that we created. We also have the schedule, but we're not really, I don't want to set that. And we even have your observers. So, let's get Zool in there. Why not? And here you can control your scan intensity, how many concurrent MVTs are running per host. Right now we have it set to 4. Maximum concurrently scanned hosts we have set to 20. No real need to change that unless you have a particularly awful or a particularly amazing system. So right now we're just going to create this task. Alright, so now you can see this is the scan management page. You see the name of the scan, it's Metasploitable scan. You see the comments that I made right here. We've got that this task is made visible for Zool. Remember, Zool is the observer. We have the status of the scan. It's new, it has not started, so there will be nothing. And here you have what you can do with the scan, and this play button will start it. So we're just going to go ahead and start that scan. You can see it's now changed to requested. Soon that'll be refreshed, and what you can actually do is set it to refresh every 10, 30, or 60 seconds. I'm going to do 10, and we're going to do apply over refresh button. Alright, and now we see that it moved from requested to started. We've got 1% done. It's going to update every 10 seconds. It's also worth noting that you can start a quick scan, just type in an IP address from here. I don't really recommend it because I think it's a little more descriptive if you input your target and your port list by themselves. But this is just another option. Hey, we're back. The scan is done. Status says done. See, this is going to be the highest threat. Looks like we have a high threat. What can you do? It's metasploitable. Alright, so this is the scan details page. It's going to tell you what scan you ran. It'll do the alert. Gives you the target, observers, all the info that we said in the beginning. And now, what we can do, we see the stats of the scan. So, we have 41 high vulnerabilities, 21 medium risk, 15 low risk, and then we got some log risk, and you know, that's not really too bad. So we're going to check out the details page. Alright, so here is even more detail. Here we got the ports and the services running and the threats that they pose. And then for each thing that is wrong, each vulnerability, we have a little report right here. It gives you the summary, gives you how to repair it. It even gives you usually a CVE to go along with it. Got some references over here. I'm just going to go right back up. And right here, so full report. You see the scan is finished. So now, what if we want to download the report? I'm just going to do HTML because I know that it doesn't give me any errors. I'm going to download it. Let's just open it with IceWeasel, compare it to what we just looked at. Alright, and here is what the report that also would have gotten sent to the email I provided would have looked like. Got the host, got the summary of the report, and then tells you all of the services on all the ports, tells you the threat level, and then it goes through the same thing, all the CVEs. Pretty straightforward. So, there you have it. That's your scan report. Hope you can take what you've learned, maybe fix some vulnerabilities. So that's it for the tutorial. You should know everything you need to know about this program now, and use it the way that you should be using it. Run scans on your own machines, run security audits. Hope you can take what you've learned, use it in a constructive way, and hopefully don't cause too much trouble. Thanks for tuning in.